In this video, I'm going to take you through 7 frequently asked questions in regards to fasting. So if you've been thinking about fasting, or maybe you've just heard about it on the grapevine, you know somebody that does it, stick around because we're going to jump straight into it after the intro. So let me start things off by just putting it out there that I'm not an expert in this whole topic. I have practiced it for around about 6 or so years now, but I've done a lot of reading and research on my own, and I have practiced it with my clients, and also I've learned a lot from people that are a lot smarter than me on the subject, such as Martin Berkhan, Brad Pylon, and other dietary or food people that I look up to, such as Alan Aragon and Lee Peel. And also, in saying all of that, the fasting video I put out recently where I recommended trying out a 24-hour fast is not something that I always do personally, but it's just a good little bit of homework to see what your capabilities are, see where you're at in regards to your mind control, and also just to sort of notice those hunger cravings. And while I have learned a lot from people like Martin Berkhan, who runs the Lean Gains website, which is kind of like the pioneer website for intermittent fasting, I don't see what I do as that now. I kind of have adjusted and just sort of made it my own diet that suits with my lifestyle. And in saying that, typical intermittent fasting programs promote the whole 16-hour fast with the 8-hour eating window for men, and then the 10 hours eating window and the 14-hour fast for women. That's just not something that I tend to stick to all the time. I like to just kind of eat with how my lifestyle is. So maybe I'm too busy on certain days and I only can eat for 4 to 5 hours out of my whole day, or sometimes it's 10 hours. I don't always stick to that nice 16-8 ratio that they do promote in that whole diet. And what that means for me is that it just opens up more flexibility, which is why I kind of chose this style of eating in the first place. So getting all that out of the way, what I also want to say here is that everything I say in this video is not gospel. I want you to definitely go seek out more advice, go do your own reading and research, go talk to your doctor, especially if you might have health issues. What I'm going to talk about in this video is my own research, my own knowledge, and I guess my own anecdotes, what I've noticed in my own diets and the people around me that I've promoted to try out this style of eating. So let's get straight into it. Question 1 is, will fasting ruin your metabolism? Now, this question comes up a lot. A lot of people are really concerned with what actually goes on when they stop eating, because people are so used to eating all the time. As soon as you tell them to stop eating, or they just restrict a certain window of eating, they can kind of get freaked out. Some people say that they get faint or dizzy. Other people they just can't handle the hunger cravings. But the ruining the metabolism is definitely a myth here. And 2 things come to mind when talking about metabolism in regards to fasting, and one being thermic effect of food, which I talked about in my previous video on fasting, and that's in relation to how many calories are burnt each time you eat a meal. So generally you said about 10% of calories are burnt upon consumption of food. So obviously type of food, macronutrient ratios plays a part in this 10%, but that's kind of a nice number to look at. So as discussed in the previous video where I talked about if you ate, say, a 200 calorie meal, you'd be burning about 20 calories, and if you ate 5 of those meals, you're going to be with a total overall calorie consumption at the end of the day about 1,000, and with the 10% deduction of that, you're going to be taking away 100 of those calories. And if we, let's say, split up those 1,000 overall calories into 2 500 meals, you're going to be burning 50 each time you ate them, so you're going to be still left with 100 calories being burnt from TEF alone. So it doesn't really matter what you eat. If you eat the 2 500 calorie meals or the 5 200 calorie meals, you're going to be still burning around about 100 calories from TEF. So that kind of wipes the whole possibility of stoking the metabolic fire, which a lot of people say, you got to be eating every 2 to 3 hours to be spiking that metabolism, to be burning that fat. And it's just simply not the case in this regard. And another quick point that comes up with this whole metabolism question is digestion rates. And it is said that if you're eating a proper meal, proper nutrient dense meal consisting of good amount of protein, fats and carbohydrates, that you're looking at up to 6 to 7 hours for your body to completely digest and break all those food molecules down. It seems to me that those 2 points are classic worries when it comes to fasting and metabolism in general, but I do implore you here to do your own research on those points that I did discuss. So question number 2 is, what types of fasting methods are out there? And obviously I've talked about one of the more popular ones being intermittent fasting at the start of this video, but there are other time restricted eating methods such as the 5-2 and the 6-1 diet, whereby people will eat at regular or maintenance calories for 5 days or the 6 days and then fast for the remaining days of the week. This method works well for a lot of people because they don't really have to stress about dieting down or being hungry all the time. They can just eat at a normal amount amounts and then just completely restrict their calories for the remaining days. Other methods of fasting out there consist of prolonged periods of fasting, whereby people restrict their eating for 24 right up to 72 hours. This is really beneficial for certain people, but this is just another topic in general, so I'm going to leave it right there on this video. Again, I do implore you to do your own research and find the style of eating that suits your lifestyle. So question number 3 is why fast? And the list of benefits when it comes to fasting is definitely becoming extensive. A lot of research is coming out on it. A lot of people are jumping on board and trying it out for themselves and experiencing the benefits. And just like I talked about in my previous fasting video where I talked about autophagy, which occurs around about the 12-hour mark, and it's responsible for cell deletion and cell restoration. So basically like a reset of your body. That's definitely one benefit here. Other benefits here include psychological power, where you know when you are hungry or you're just desiring just another snack just because you're used to eating like that. Suiting your lifestyle so you don't have to worry about carrying around all the Tupperware containers to work, making them every night. Improving mood, energy levels, enabling more time to be productive so you're not worrying, oh, I better go eat another meal, it's been 2 hours. Allowing yourself to be more satisfied when you do actually eat. If you're eating 6 smaller meals, they're just kind of bite-sized and you're like, oh yeah, cool, I've finished eating. But you consider eating 6 smaller bite-sized meals or just eating 3 square meals. And a final one here is an increase in certain hormones such as dopamine, the 2 adrenaline hormones, and also becoming more insulin sensitive, which means that your body is better at decreasing elevated blood glucose levels after consumption of food. But in saying all that, please keep in mind that fasting is not some magic tool or pill. You still got to worry about overall calories, types of food, nutrient timing, all those types of things still play a role in how your body responds to what diet you undertake. So question number 4 is, should you fast? And after saying everything in question 3, it seems like, yeah, maybe you should give it a go, but you've still got to take into consideration things like your own age, your gender, your body fat percentage, your activity levels, whether you're pregnant or not. And also one big thing here is your goals. Does it suit your lifestyle? What are you trying to achieve when you do fast? I guess the real answer here is it depends. Maybe you need to think about it some more, do some more reading, talk to your doctor about it. You've just got to determine whether or not it suits your lifestyle and what you're trying to achieve overall. So question number 5 is, how often should you fast? And this question comes up a lot when talking about fasting, but like I discussed in the previous questions, you've got to determine what you're trying to achieve when you're doing this. You've also got to determine what style of fasting you're thinking about. So maybe you're thinking about intermittent fasting or the 5-2 style of eating, or perhaps the 24-hour fast once a month. I do recommend you to try a 24-hour fast first. This seems to be a good homework exercise for a lot of people to just experience what goes on and see how they feel about the whole fasting side of things. Question number 6 is, what should you eat before and after fasting? This is a real simple one to answer. You just got to always look for proper food, so restricting that packaged stuff. You want to make sure you're eating good amount of fibrous vegetables, good amount of protein, good amount of good fats before and after. Don't overeat when it comes to breaking the fast, so you might feel really hungry as the time ticks and it gets closer to when you can break your fast and have your breakfast. But don't go crazy here, don't overdo it, just eat what a normal meal would be to you in your normal day-to-day life. Another thing to consider is whether or not you're physically active. So I tend to break my fast after training, or at least within a 3 to 4 hour window after training, and that just allows me to eat a nice amount of vegetables, good amount of protein, a bit of starchy carbohydrate too if I want to. The main thing here is just to be consistent. You don't want to be overdoing it when you can break your fast, and you want to aim for proper real food. And finally, question number 7 is, what are you allowed during the fast? Now, the opinion here differs between method to method and advocate to advocate, but always the logic is consume water, limit your coffees, but you're allowed 1 or 2 black coffees during the fast. You can have 1 or 2 pieces of chewing gum. Tea obviously is fine, but just don't overdo it with the milk and the sugars. Methods like intermittent fasting allow 40 calories or so during the fast, so that obviously enables you to have a little bit of milk in your coffee or whatnot. But again, this is all individual preferences. What style suits you? What do you want to achieve? I tend to only have 1, maybe 2 black coffees during my fast. I have 1 to 2 pieces of chewing gum. There is discussion about when you're chewing, you're going to be stimulating digestive enzymes. So if you're chewing gum, you're going to be stimulating that whole digestion process. Also, in regards to drinking coffee, you're still going to be stimulating some sort of digestive process. But this is obviously going to differ from individual to individual and what they're trying to achieve. And obviously people are going to differ in regards to that perhaps they've chewed gum all their life and their body just knows they're not actually consuming food, so they're not going to be secreting those digestive enzymes so much. I guess the main points when it comes to these 7 questions is that it really does vary from individual to individual. You have to determine what your goals are when it comes to fasting. Perhaps you need to do some more reading, think a little bit more, talk to some people that know a little bit more about it than you do. But really this whole fasting world is just another style of eating that can suit certain people's lifestyle. So you just have to consider that when it comes to it. But in any case, I hope these 7 questions have helped you in some way. Perhaps some of them were on your mind and now they've been answered. Hey guys, Hayden here. I did this video as a bit of a follow-up to my previous fasting video, so if you did happen to watch that and you had questions after viewing it, hopefully they were answered in this video. Obviously it's real hard to hit every single question and therefore answer every single question perfectly, but hopefully I did do some sort of justice in this one. Let me know what you thought of it, let me know if you have any follow-up questions, and I do recommend that you check out those guys that I mentioned at the start of the video, so Lee Peel, Alan Aragon, Brad Pylon, and of course Martin Birkin. I'm going to link their websites down below in the description alongside the other fasting video, so if you did happen to miss it or you just don't know what I'm talking about, go there and it might answer some more questions or help you see things a little bit more clearly. I just want to say as well that it's hard to put everything into a video as short as this, so I implore you to do your own research, check out those links below and maybe watch some other YouTube videos out there too. Other than that, leave a like if you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button if you want more videos like this, and I guess that's it for this week, so thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.